Hi everybody and welcome to our weekly game design talk for Boardquest Tales of Lyria, our upcoming tabletop board and video game coming to Kickstarter this year. And today I want to talk about different play modes. So which play modes can you play Boardquest in? And there's a few, so I'm gonna quickly go over them so you get a good overview. And basically, let's start with the most common play mode, I would say, from the play tests, and that's the versus mode. So in versus mode, you can play as each player plays as one of the heroes of Lyria. For example, here we got a prototype card of Belar Crosschain or Gregor the Mighty, the human hero. And so each player takes a faction, and you can play 1 versus 1. You can play 2 versus 2, or you can play free for all, basically. So everyone against each other with up to 4 players. So the rules for this play mode are actually all on our website. You can go there on playboardquest.com, check out the rulebook for details. But to sum it up, it's about building your army, gathering experience by defeating monsters, collecting items, and putting basically your figures into strategically well-chosen positions and capturing the different victory points, the forts on the map that you're creating. So last week we talked about the map. Here again, as a reminder, here are the map pieces, and you kind of assemble the map in this mode as you go in the beginning of the game. So this is a game mode that will take about 30 minutes per player. So for 2 players, it takes 1 hour. The first time it's going to take a little bit longer, but in general, it's a 1 hour experience for 2 players, and for 3 players, it's going to take about 1.5 hours average, and for 4 players, about 2 hours. So it's kind of a good mix between casual gameplay with deep mechanics, in my opinion, because your strategy really matters, and there is some RNG, some randomness in the game, but from my experience again, and from the playtester's experience, what really matters the most is the player's strategy and choices they make during a playthrough. That gets us to another mode, which is the adventure mode. So the adventure mode is another play mode where players can basically play through a campaign and create their own custom campaign with the Boardquest system. And this is what I'm currently working on to release next week on Steam, or the week after, like a little demo of that. If you want to try the versus mode, there's a demo also on Steam for Boardquest where you can play as Belar and as Gregor to just test out the mechanics against the AI. And in adventure mode, you're gonna play against an automa, against a predefined rule set of the enemy. It's kind of like an AI but simplified, and the goals can be different. You can create your own map, like I said. You can set up the scenarios that you like, and you can basically create winning conditions, losing conditions, and different things. So the rules for the adventure mode and the normal game mode are pretty much the same, and I will get into details about the adventure mode, I think, in one of our next talks, because there's a lot to cover. But in general, it allows you to play through a story also, either one that we at Ramesware created, or one that other users created. And the twist here is that you could actually print out other people's campaigns that they created in the video game and play them out in the board game. So I hope this will provide a lot of longevity of play, different scenarios, creativity, and get the community involved into map making. And these are the major kind of play modes. You have the campaign mode, the adventure mode, you have the versus mode. You can play the adventure mode also with 1 to 4 players in co-op, basically. And versus mode, you can play basically 1 versus 1, you can play 2 versus 2, and you can play free for all, and that kind of provides for different experiences. And in my experience, it's also something that is something. There's something for every kind of player. If you're more like the kind of competitive player, you probably like to play versus a lot, and if you are a little bit less competitive, you might choose to play with a friend 2 versus 2, because that's a little bit more team play involved. Or if you really just prefer to play in a cooperative manner, then the adventure mode, the story mode, will give you a lot of content for your playthrough. So thanks for listening in, and I hope I could explain a little bit more about the play modes of Boardquest, and stay tuned for our weekly game design talks. And yeah, thanks for listening.